Having now, as far as it could be done in such a cursory manner, analyzed the nature of the value of any commodity whatever, we must turn our attention to the specific value of labor. And here again I must startle you by a seeming paradox. All of you feel sure that what they sell is their labor. That is, therefore, labor has a price, and that the price of a commodity, being only the monetary expression of its value, there must certainly exist such a thing as the value of labor. However, there exists no such thing as the value of labor in the common acceptance of the word. We have seen that the amount of necessary labor crystallized in a commodity constitutes its value. Now, applying this notion of value, how could we define, say, the value of a 10-hour working day? How much labor is contained in that day? 10 hours labor. To say that the value of 10 hours working day is equal to 10 hours labor, or the quantity of labor contained in it, would be a tautological and moreover a nonsensical expression. Of course, having once found out the true but hidden sense of the expression, quote, value of labor, unquote, we shall be able to interpret this irrational and seemingly impossible application of value in the same way that, having once made sure of the real movement of the celestial bodies, we shall be able to explain their apparent or merely phenomenal movements. What the working man sells is not directly his labor, but his laboring power, the temporary disposal of which he makes over to the capitalist. This is so much the case that I do not know whether English laws, but certainly by some continental laws, the maximum time is fixed for which a man is allowed to sell his laboring power. If allowed to do so for any indefinite period, whatever, slavery would be immediately restored. Such a sale, if it comprised his lifetime, for example, would make him at once the lifelong slave of his employer. One of the oldest economists and most original philosophers of England, Thomas Hobbes, has already in his Leviathan instinctively hit upon the point overlooked by all of his successors. He says, quote, the value or worth of a man is, as in all other things, his price. That is, so much as would be given for the use of his power. Proceeding from this basis, we shall be able to determine the value of labor as that of all other commodities. But before doing so, we might ask how this strange phenomenon arise that we find on the market a set of buyers possessed of land, machinery, raw material, and the means of subsistence, all of them save land in its crude state, products of labor. On the other hand, a set of toilers, a set of sellers who have nothing to sell but their laboring power, their working arms and brains. That the one set buys continually in order to make a profit and enrich themselves, while the other set continually sells in order to earn their living. The inquiry into this question would be an inquiry into what economists call, quote, previous or original accumulation, but which ought to be called original expropriation. We should find that this so-called original accumulation means nothing but a series of historical processes resulting in a decomposition of the original union existing between the laboring man and his instruments of labor. Such an inquiry, however, lies beyond the pale of my present subject. The separation between the man of labor and the instruments of labor, once established, such a state of things will maintain itself and reproduce itself upon a constantly increasing scale until a new and fundamental revolution in the mode of production should again overturn it and restore the original union in a new historical form. What then is the value of laboring power? Like every other commodity, its value is determined by the quantity of labor necessary to produce it. The laboring power of a man exists only in his living individuality. A certain mass of necessaries must be consumed by a man to grow up and maintain his life. But the man, like the machine, will wear out and must be replaced by another man. Beside the mass of necessaries required for his own maintenance, he wants another amount of necessaries to bring up a certain quota of children that are to replace him on the labor market and to perpetuate the race of laborers. Moreover, to develop his laboring power and acquire a given skill, another amount of values must be spent. For our purposes, it suffices to consider only average labor, the costs of whose education and development are vanishing magnitudes. Still, I must seize upon this occasion to state, as the costs of producing laboring powers of different quality differ, so much differ the values of laboring powers employed in different trades. The cry for an equality of wages rests thereupon upon a mistake. It is an inane wish never to be fulfilled. It is an offspring of that false and superficial radicalism that accepts premises and tries to evade conclusions. Upon the basis of the wages system, the value of laboring power is settled like that of every other commodity. And as different kinds of laboring power have different values or require different quantities of labor for their production, they must fetch different prices in the labor market. To clamor for an equal or even equitable retribution on the basis of the wages system is the same as to clamor for freedom on the basis of the slavery system. What you think just or equitable is out of the question. The question is, what is necessary and unavoidable with a given system of production? And what has been said, after what has been said, it will be seen that the value of laboring power is determined by the value of necessaries required to produce, develop, and maintain, and perpetuate the laboring power.